trust you are all doing exceptionally well tonight. Tonight's video, my hair is kinda wild. Left it natural for the day and just don't have the time. But anyway, tonight's video is going to be a neighborhood gossip video. nobody's like wide awake at this point. Guy ends up, screaming, getting up screaming, F you, F this, blah blah, quick, goes in his house. Next day comes around, and police are there at like the crack of dawn, okay? And he's at his house, he's still wanted, right? He's still got a warrant. Cops come. One of the neighbors really said, hey, he's home, come get him. So, cops come, and he is arrested. They go in, they get him, and they're bringing him out. And when I tell you guys the scene that went down when they brought him out of that house, he was like, this is going on TikTok, you're holding my arm too tight. And I'm not saying that they weren't, I wasn't being the one that was being brought out, so, but yeah, he was like, this is going on social media. He just like was screaming and like locking his legs so that they had to like physically pull him, and there was like 8, 9, 10 cops. There's a lot of police officers. I don't know what he did to get the warrant, I have no idea, but nevertheless, this whole scene takes place, right? They get him in a car, there was like a female officer there, and the look on her face was so hysterical. She was just so done, like, dude, you're going to jail, shut up, so they take him, right? 2 days later, not even 48 hours later, my fiance was coming home from work, and me and my son are outside again, and they get a text message saying, homeboy is walking home from the police station. I just saw him. And I'm like, oh no, please God no. Because like, if he gets out, he was causing trouble before. But I think it's because of bail reform in New York, or I think it's everywhere, I don't know, but like, there's no bail anymore, so you could just get out until you gotta go into court again. So yeah, he's out, and he's back to wearing his mask and his gloves, and drives around like that, masked up and gloved up, and yeah, it's pretty interesting, it's pretty crazy, it's pretty scary. Pretty scary. He's out, and wearing his mask and his gloves, driving around. And then that same neighbor that punched him like last week was driving. I think he was getting ice cream. We have like a really nice park with like ice cream shops and stuff and like bike paths. And he was either riding his bike or rollerblading, and he saw the guy driving in his car with the mask on, and the cops had him pulled over, and he like sent us a picture of it. So it's just wild that this man is like out, and he's still out, and every day it's something new. Literally every day. Yesterday he was screaming, like ripping his shirt off, messing with his car, like you just don't know what you're gonna get. So hey, so-and-so, your dogs are in my driveway. They're running all around. They scared the crap out of my physical therapist. Like, what are you doing? And she was like, there's 3 of them, because there's normally 2. He has 2 dogs. So she was like, there's 3. And he was like, oh, those aren't my dogs. I just checked on them. They're fine. And my mom was like, are you sure the 2 of them look just like your dogs? He was like, no, they're in my backyard. They're fine. I just checked on them. But thank you. As he's about to hang up the phone, my mom hears him say, oh, shit. They were not in his backyard. They were in her yard. They were his dogs. And it's like the neighborhood has offered to put in money to help him get his can I think of the word, fence fixed, so that the dogs can't get out anymore, because it's a danger to the poor animals. Okay, it's a danger to the people in the neighborhood. It's a danger to the other dogs in the neighborhood. It's just